Recording Badgering the Hawkeye, Zoom Part 1. Waiting for Brian Marshall to join the shenanigans. I am changing the drinking up a little bit tonight. I am drinking seltzer waters and just something different. You know, that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm waiting for Brian. So maybe we'll post this up on the Facebook Live here a little bit later. But this is a Zoom recording, a kind of a live podcast, I guess you can say. So we're waiting for Brian to join here. He says he's downloading it right now. So I won't crack open my seltzers until he joins. But I hope everybody's doing okay, and hope this is working out okay. We'll find out shortly. But waiting for Brian. Just kind of stare at each other here for a little bit. Hope everybody's doing okay with what's going on. But we're not going to talk about the pandemic. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're gonna wait for Brian to join us, and we'll try to get into some shenanigans here in just a bit. So just we'll stand by. And Brian looks like he's in the waiting room, so I'm going to admit him in, and we're waiting for Brian to join. Brian, are you there? Oh, Brian Marshall's coming in, and he's connecting the audio. Hey, there he is. Hey, it's Brian. Can you hear me, Brian? Check 1, 2, Brian.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hi, buddy.
Hey.
I am recording this right now as we speak. Obviously, we can't put this up on Facebook Live as we go live because we don't have the money.
No, we don't have the money.
We don't have the money to do that.
No, we sure don't. So
do we want to record this as we go and make this into a podcast, or how do you want to approach this?
I can't record off of Zoom based off of what I have.
What?
No. All of my recording comes off of Skype.
Oh, man. What are we going to do?
I don't know. It looks like you're recording right now.
Yeah, I'm recording. So I'm going to see if we can post this up on the Facebook machine a little bit later. And hopefully I can link that up soon.
So how about we just make this a video podcast promoting the new episode that will be dropping tomorrow morning.
There we go. We can. Oh, tomorrow morning. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead.
I was going to say the new episode is highlighting how we're dealing with, well, you can see both of us have some beards going on.
Yeah, I've not shaved in like a month and a half, man.
You haven't had to leave the house.
Well, no, or haircuts too. I mean,
you can't leave the house. Well, why do you think I'm wearing a hat? Talks a little bit about that. We talk about what we've been doing. One of the two of us did a television commercial in the time that we've been away.
That was you. I'm pointing.
That was me. Yeah. That was me. Voiceover for that television commercial. One of us consulted a college on how to do podcasting.
Everything, yeah.
That was you?
Yeah, we'll get into the podcast. How long is this podcast that we're releasing on Easter? Can we say it's the resurrection of Badgering the Hawkeye, or is that going too far?
Oh, you could, but I wouldn't. Just seems like a bad idea right now.
Yeah, I'm going to crack open what I'm drinking tonight. I was telling people, Brian, before we got into it, I'm changing things up. I'm going seltzer water tonight.
Oh, look at you.
I know, right?
There's no more seltzer shortage, is there?
Oh, there's no more beer in my fridge. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm cleaning out what the leftovers are, so that's why I'm drinking Mick Ultras tonight.
Oh, you were drinking was it Natter Days or Natty Ice the other night? Is that what you were drinking?
Oh, no, no, it was Busch Light and Michelob Ultras. I'm cleaning out, just emptying out the beer fridge.
Interesting.
There's two six packs. Oh, good Lord, I'm paid to talk, but there's 2 6-packs that are in there right now for you.
Yeah,
you were supposed to have last weekend.
Oh man, that's right.
And now they're just sitting here in my beer fridge, and I don't know how much longer they're going to last.
Do you realize what the weather was supposed to be like last Sunday?
I sure do.
It's like sunny and 65 with no wind in Chicago.
It seems like it was just going to be just like the last time we went to Chicago.
It's going to be perfect on an April day. You don't get that. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about like a foot of snow.
maybe for you. For me, they're talking maybe a trace to an inch and a half. But as I say that, guess what we're gonna get? Snowblower weather. That's why I haven't taken the oil or the fuel outside of my snowblower yet.
I've already put away my snowblower. I'm done, and I'm like, screw this. I am not. I mean, where am I going? I'm not going to shovel. I'm not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to let it melt.
All right. I mean, doesn't your wife have to go somewhere because she's a part of the Blue Heart Committee? She's a part of the front lines on the health side. Which, by the way, thank you very much to anyone who's having to deal with that. I mean, that's the front of the front lines right there. That's the foxholes. That's the people with bayonets. That right there, that's some serious shit.
Yeah, and to my wife's credit, she's not one of those, or she's not on the front line per se. She's not directly with the patients. She's indirectly with the patients.
Mm-hmm.
So she's training the nurses on what they need to know as they go into the front lines or whatever you want to call it. So, she's one of those behind the scenes. So she's probably second or third in the line, as she would say.
What have you, not to give away too much in the episode, but what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied outside of work?
Outside of work? Man, a lot of drinking.
It's like a typical Wisconsinite. I mean,
oh my God. We're having parking lot driveway parties between my neighbors and everything, hanging out with the kids. I've cleaned the house, dude. Like seriously, like I clean every day. I do the dishes. I do the laundry. I'm like a little Mr. Mom over here. And my wife is like, where's my husband at? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm bored, I guess.
Yeah. You got stay-at-home Mike with his full-on beard right now. This is
that?
This is probably the fullest of your beard that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, I told my wife, I said, I think I'm gonna let this thing go after this pandemic is over, Brian. I think I'm just gonna let it go.
What? Just grow it all the way out? Like
I'm just gonna grow it and see how far I can. I'll trim it up, a little bit here and there, but
trim the sides and then let the bottom go and then dye it pink like Dimebag Darrell.
Yeah, that can get a guitar and learn how to play jazz.
Sure, you could do that. So, where were you taking us? You're driving this ship.
Well, what did I even send you? I have to look at my text message here. I mean, so first off, Brian, while I'm looking this up, I'm killing time here. What do you think of Zoom? I mean, do you kind of like this here? Or,
yeah, I like it. It's pretty high quality. I enjoy the fact that the video's not skipping around.
Max Headroom.
Yeah, that definitely was one of the problems I had before. I don't know if that was my connection or not, but this is definitely nice.
I do like the fact that it tells us who's talking. So I know that I'm talking right now. And then when you're talking, it tells me that you're talking.
Okay. The voice part didn't give that away.
Yeah. I think what we wanted to talk about here is I'm scrolling through here. Man, we've got a lot of text messages back and forth. We wanted to talk about music, what we're listening to, shows we're possibly watching. We really don't want to talk about the pandemic. We really don't want to harp on what's going on with that, but maybe what we're doing in our spare time, or now that we got all this time in the world and stuff. But you're not furloughed like we talked about in our episode, but I'm furloughed, but you're not. So you're currently working at the station as we record this today.
Well, no, I'm actually in my basement right now.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I mean, I'm not at the station. I don't think that they'd allow me to have my clothes hanging up inside the studio. My portable hard drive. My wonderful accoutrements that go with the place.
What kind of word is that? Is that are you studying the dictionary as we?
Well, somewhat, yeah. I mean, I have to make myself sound smart because I definitely don't. What's that?
Accoutrement? What? How do you say that?
Nope, you sure missed that one. I wish you could write that down. The wonderful thing is your handwriting is something of legend.
Oh, come on now.
Because your handwriting and your spelling together, tremendous.
It's the greatest.
Watching when you tried to piece together some things on the front of the log to try and explain what commercials may or may not have run in certain stop sets.
Oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
I thought it was great. I loved it. I wish I could frame every one of them, but
What's sad is like my 9-year-old Brian, she's doing like homework, and so she'll be like, "Daddy, how do you spell?" It's the most basic word, honestly. Like it is no joke. She'll say, "How do you spell entry?" And I have to go ENT. Fuck. Hang on. Google, and I have to Google it. It's no joke. Like there's something that just not fire my brain that I can't spell.
Are you good at math?
I'm all right in math. I'm decent.
Are you an artiste?
No, God, don't look at my handwriting.
Well, I mean,
handwriting. I can draw a picture. I can't even write there. Right. You know.
Which there are you talking about? So there we go.
There, or there. Which is which?
So, what music are you listening to since you brought it up? Sorry, you took a drink.
A lot of 90s music I'm going back to.
Ah, okay. Tell me.
I don't know. I mean, I heard a version. I actually texted you on this, Brian, an acoustic, or not acoustic, but instrumental version of Heart Shaped Box today. And I don't even know.
Yes.
I don't even know where I pulled that out of. I'm just like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Whoa, Brian's got to listen to this.
It's off the Westworld soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads into one of the topics that we discuss on the upcoming episode about cover songs.
Okay.
While this is a cover of Heart Shaped Box, it is a instrumental done with pianos and strings.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the most dark ways I could have heard the song interpreted.
Yes. Did you like it?
I did, because I think that was the original feel that they were trying to get with that song. Now, Kurt wasn't playing piano on Heart Shaped Box on the In Utero album, but when you hear it, you're like, wow, that's pretty powerful right there. So what we get into a little bit more in the episode is how cover songs, some people make them their own, which I feel like this version was.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that don't. That they just carbon copy them, cookie cutter it.
Yeah.
So we talk about that in the upcoming episode, which I can't remember what number it is right now.
Well, in full disclosure, Brian, I think it's great. I love it. I love the this version of Heart Shaped Box, and Heart Shaped Box was actually the first video I got to see on MTV back in the 90s.
Did you have a band on MTV like I did?
A band? No. Well, kind of, but no. Yeah, kind of.
Well, wait, which one is it? Yes or no?
We had it, and I was able to. It was so stupid. Like my parents let me watch like TRL, and remember the show? I think it was called Karaoke, where they would run the videos and then they'd have the songs, the lyrics at the bottom. So I was able to watch that, but I was never able to watch like Beavis and Butthead, and it was a Daria and Oddities, like that nighttime lineup that was so cool with like all those cartoons and shows and stuff like that. So I wasn't ever able to watch that, but I was able to watch the videos.
See, this would have been VH1 in probably like 93. Nope. Go back even further. 88, 89 probably.
Okay.
VH1 was playing a lot of what, at the time would have been Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
88 would have also been, there's a band out of Britain called Breathe. They have a song, How Can I Fall, that I remember. Johnny Hates Jazz, Shattered Dreams. I think it was 8 at the time. So VH1 was fine. You could not turn it to MTV.
Really?
You couldn't block it because all you had was the cable coming into the house, and you would spin the little dial to get to wherever you needed on the cable. But MTV, Channel 27, you could not go to.
Did you ever have, and I had it in Madison, it was called The Box. It was the Box, it was called. And it was a music video channel, and you could call a 900 number and request songs on it, and then they would play the videos and stuff.
Of course, yeah. How much would that cost you to call in for a request?
I don't know. We were poor. I mean, we were living in the ghetto of Madison at the time. So, but yeah, I mean, we had it was like that. For some reason, we had like 10 channels. We had our Farmer 5 plus PBS and then the Box. And you could turn to it. It was like channel like 57 or something like that.
Hang on. There was a term I didn't get there for a second. Can you explain what Farmer 5 is, please?
You've ever heard of the Farmer 5?
No, this is why I'm asking.
But, when you lived on a farm and you didn't have a cable and you couldn't get satellite back before satellite was satellite, all you could get was the antenna. and you had your 5 channels. You had your NBC, your CBS, your ABC, your Fox, and your PBS. It's the Farmer 5.
Okay, I got you.
That's all you could get.
See, we had I can't remember what it was. We had a variation of the Farmer 5 where I lived, because I did live on a farm throughout much of my formative years. But there was a channel out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, that was channel 41, I think.
Okay.
And they would pipe up this thing, because I think it was like a public access or a UHF channel that would run Mystery Science Theater 3000 up until about 10 o'clock, because that was based in Minneapolis. It was recorded in Minneapolis. And then they would have this show, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, Modern Rock Twin Cities. It was a music video program put on by the alternative station I was listening to at the time called 93.7 The Edge.
Okay.
So you'd have the DJ that one of the reasons I got into it for the first time, Kane, he would host it for a while. And then I think it jumped to a guy named Peter Johns,
Peter Johns.
Yeah. No, Peter Johns was kind of more that alternative type of guy, like, hey, man, I'm Peter Johns. And Peter Johns was a cool guy too, but he wasn't Kane, because Kane jumped from there and went to K-Rock in New York, the station with Howard Stern, kind of a big deal. But yeah, Kane hosted it, and I remember seeing videos for like Ween, Push the Little Daisies, and watch them come up. Liz Phair, Supernova, L7, Babes in Toyland. I mean, a lot of the Minneapolis alternative scene. Yeah. Violent Femmes was on there. Bad Religion, 21st Century Digital Boy. Santeria from Sublime. Yeah. I mean, all that stuff from like mid, 94 up to about 96. I remember watching that, and I think I still have a videotape, VHS somewhere, of Modern Rock Twin Cities. I might even link it up on the Badgering the Hawkeye Facebook page.
That'd be really cool.
Which is Badgering the Hawkeye Facebook.com/Badgering the Hawkeye. Is that a Corona?
It is a Corona.
You dumb son of a bitch. You realize what you're doing right now? You're perpetrating the problem.
Corona, they have nothing to do with the pandemic.
What do you think they're going to change their name to after this whole thing is done?
Money?
No,
dude, they're good, man. This is actually a really good seltzer.
I'm sure. Yeah, no, that's great.
I got that one, and then remember Four Loko, Brian?
What?
Be nice. You remember Four Loko?
Sure do.
Yeah, they got a seltzer water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Basic.
Basic, bitch.
No, Basic.
Let me see. Basic. Oh, okay.
Basic cucumber.
With a hint of cucumber. You want a mani-pedi with that too?
I do. And then I'm going to be drinking a Cape Wine possibly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're doing all the cleaning inside your house. You're drinking seltzer waters.
Telling you.
Pretty soon you're going to be listening to Shania Twain and saying, man, I feel like a woman.
Whose boots have your bed been under or something? I don't know.
Your bed has been under the boots? That's a big bitch.
Dude. I'm telling you right now, I mopped the kitchen the other day. Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah, and my wife came home from work and she walked through, and I'm like, "Take your shoes off!" I seriously yelled at her. I said, "Take your shoes off! I just mopped this damn floor."
Take off your boots, or I'll put them underneath the bed.
Put them underneath the bed, and she's like, "What is going on here?"
All right. So, what else are you listening to, speaking of covers, one of the ones that I was listening to here recently that I've been a huge fan of is a band called Through Fire. We're featuring them on Rock 108.
Okay. And
they covered Listen to Your Heart. We talk about it in the episode. It is one of the cookie cutter versions, but I think that they put a little bit more oomph into it.
Yeah.
It's not like the pop version that came out here. I don't know who that woman was that did it, but I've always said that somebody should cover Roxette's Dangerous.
Ooh, I can see that.
And turn it into a metal song.
Yeah.
Hold on tight. You know she's a little bit dangerous.
I could see that would be really cool. And it's funny when these bands do come out with these cover songs that you're like, really? You're going to cover that? That's a wow factor for sure.
It is, yeah. So we talk a little bit more about that in the episode that we will be dropping here tomorrow morning.
Yeah, on Easter. I'm Mike, and I know it says Badgering the Hawkeye under mine, but I'm Mike, and that's Brian right over there. Hi, Brian.
Hey. So the other thing, I don't know if you saw it today. So I'm also playing off of the fact that I was on the radio today.
That's right. I got to listen to you for like 30 seconds today.
Oh yeah, what did I say?
You told me that the weather was going to be snowy, and you were kind of complaining about that. And then you played Jeremy.
Oh, so then that would have been probably about 11 or so, right?
Yeah, 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in my car driving, streaming, and then I had to take a phone call. I'm like, so then I lost the stream, and then I was home by the time, so I only got to hear like one break. So I'm sorry.
You missed a little bit later in the show. I made a Billy Mays reference about
He's
about
dead.
Metallica. No, well, yes, but I also talked about how it was coming out of the Unforgiven 2 from Metallica.
Mhm.
How it was the sequel to the original Unforgiven, and then there was the Unforgiven 3 on Death Magnetic. And if they put out the Unforgiven 4, Billy Mays here, you can get the Unforgiven 4 if you get Unforgiven 1 through 3 and only pay shipping and handling.
Oh, and then you'd say, shit, I should have ducked.
Oh, no, stop it.
Too soon? I mean,
no, leave Billy Mays alone.
I love Billy Mays.
There's enough death and destruction in this world right now.
And now you got the guy that's on the boat that is made of flex steel or whatever that's called, where he's like, hey, I'm gonna put this flex steel on a holy boat, and then I'm gonna drive it in the Florida swamp and not sink.
My favorite meme right now is him taking that flex tape and he whacks it up against the huge hole in the plastic bucket. So it's like all of America's problems, whack tape, $1,200.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of memes, have you ventured down the Tiger King road yet?
So planned on doing that last night, fell asleep.
Oh man, how can you fall asleep to the Tiger King?
I haven't watched it.
You gotta watch it.
There's a few things. We are about ready to cut the cable cord.
Okay.
So I will probably have more time to watch things like the Tiger King and catch up on a lot of things that. Oh, I'm going to be able to watch The Man in the High Castle finally. That's on Amazon Prime.
I couldn't get into that. I tried really hard. You recommended that one for me. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I love a show that does things in a period piece fashion.
Yeah, and
the whole concept behind it is, what if Germany and Japan had won World War II? Where would America be?
Probably where we're at right now.
No, because everybody on the planet's dealing with this right now.
I know, it's true. Ozarks is another one I think you should take a look at.
Yeah, I saw that that kind of popped the crowd when you threw out that Ozarks. Now, who's in that again?
Oh man, yeah.
There's a guy and there's a girl.
Guy and a girl, and I can't remember some other name. He was in Arrested Development, and
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman, thank you.
He was also in Teen Wolf 2.
Wow.
Which is available now on Tubi if you're looking for it.
Wow. Did not know that.
I'm looking to find out who the Ozark cast is.
It's a really good show, but other things I'm doing, Brian, is watching Pluto, which I'm really trying to get you onto the Pluto bandwagon.
I tried. The interface is not working as much here. I did watch it when I was at your house the last time.
Yeah, but they've added some extra channels. They've added a what they call MTV Block Party, so they'll show like an hour of music of artists. So like I saw an artist or an hour of Nine Inch Nails the other night, and then an hour of David Bowie.
That's pretty cool. Really good. Jason Bateman is in Ozark. Laura Linney, who we also know from The Truman Show.
Yes, she was Truman's wife.
Yeah. Who else do we got in here? Sophia Hublitz. Don't know her. Am I supposed to know anybody else on this show?
Probably not, but it's a good show.
That Carson Holmes is kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy people in the show.
Jimmy Dempster from the Cartel kind of looks like a pro wrestler.
Oh.
There's only two people I know from this show. Should I know Julia Garner, who plays Ruth?
Ruth is a badass, and her character is really evolving over the first two seasons. You did mention wrestling there, and I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Yeah,
I think you know where I'm going with this.
All right.
A couple of things. One, I saw that WWE released a statement saying that a wrestler unnamed has contracted the virus. And,
The Miz.
And then two, what are your thoughts on a 2-part event WrestleMania hosted by the Gronk a couple weeks back?
One word.
Did you watch it?
No, I did not watch it. usually, you know me, I kind of dig two events a year for pro wrestling, especially with WWE. Royal Rumble, which is the 30-man over the top rope battle royal.
Of the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble, one of the coolest things since we were kids. Oh, who's next? Who's coming in next?
The countdown,
yeah. And then WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is the show of shows.
Yeah.
The show of shows was conducted on a soundstage and pre-recorded, and they're playing to an empty arena.
Yeah,
like they had to. But the thing I've been talking about with some of my wrestling friends is that what if you just put it on hold? As soon as the state of Florida and the city of Tampa said, hey, nah, let's not do this, then they should have said, okay, well, we'll pause. Yes, there's a lot of money invested in it, but guess who else is losing money right now? Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, the National Hockey League, which would have been playing playoffs now.
Yep. NCAA tournament.
Say again?
NCAA tournament.
I wasn't going to bring that one up because we talk about that in the upcoming episode that'll be dropping tomorrow.
We do, yeah.
So,
but yeah, there's that. But and I'm kind of going off the rails here because that's what I do. But like one of my favorite pay-per-view events that I always looked forward to, Brian, was the original Survivor Series.
Yeah, when you had the 5-on-5,
the 5-on-5, and then everybody was just like an elimination match and everything.
Sure, they don't do that anymore.
No. People don't have patience for it. It's like baseball, they just don't have patience for 5 people to get eliminated. But yeah, the Royal Rumble. I heard there was a women's Royal Rumble this year.
Oh yeah, no, they've had it for the last 2 years. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It means that you've got something else to where the women's Royal Rumble and some of the women's matches are eclipsing the male matches.
Really?
So at this point, it's just they're just wrestlers. They're pro wrestlers. It shouldn't matter the gender. They're pro wrestlers.
And what are your thoughts on Ronda Rousey?
I read somewhere that she made some comments about fans. I mean, whatever. She's been out of it for a year and change. So, you had your run, and if you come back, cool. You'll add to the product. But I mean, the newest product right now is really hard for me to digest, especially on the WWE side. Just because I think they're playing too young, and I'm just outside of that demographic. Yes, pro wrestling is meant for younger people anyway. Yeah. But the one that I kind of keep an eyeball on, not as much as I used to, is that all elite wrestling, the AEW, which has right now Chris Jericho. He was their heavyweight champion.
Okay.
The guy that played Dean Ambrose, his name is Jon Moxley. He's now the heavyweight champ. And then they're introducing some other characters that are leaving WWE because they're sick and tired of not getting what they call the push.
Yeah, but they'll be back. I mean, you can't compete with the WWE. I mean, look at TNA. I mean, TNA had they went from that triangle ring, and then they brought in Hulk Hogan, and then they tried to revamp it and bring in all these old timers and stuff, and they just couldn't get it going. And now it's back to the WWE. I mean, you're not going to compete. It's like the NFL. You just can't compete against it.
I kind of agree, but I think that AEW is not trying to be WWE, or at least not much at the beginning.
Okay.
They're trying to provide if you don't like this type of wrestling, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that's where the XFL was doing all right, because they were, not trying to be the alternative to the NFL. Hey, if you want to watch football and we have some other things, we're going to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
And unfortunately, I read that the XFL is probably on its death knell right now because of this whole thing.
I heard that they fired everybody, and they're not coming back, which is unfortunate. I mean, they were innovative on a lot of things. Again, I mean, the sideline reporting, they encouraged gambling, which is unheard of in sports, which I think was amazing. Like they were talking about like the line and like, oh, if this guy scores this, there's the over under, and then the kickoff too was amazing. I thought was a really good innovation too.
So, are we going to get another 30 for 30 in about 10 years that says Vince McMahon, he's sitting there in his wheelchair kind of doing one of these? Let's get it back one more time.
Yeah. This is the XFL.
This is the XFL. And then what happens after that? Because it seems like every time it seems that the XFL is destined for disaster.
And this could have been, I think this one could have been successful if this wouldn't have gone down, though.
So where do the XFL championship T-shirts go to this time? Are they sending them to a different country? You know, like the loser of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like after the Badgers lost to Duke when I was at
Oh
the
no!
national championship, they were selling the Duke championship shirts outside of the arena. I walked up to a guy and I'm like, "Yeah, any Wisconsin ones back there?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I'll give you $100 for one." He kind of looked at me. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I can't do it. I gotta destroy him." And I'm like, "All right."
Oh, jeez. No, he doesn't. He's going to send them somewhere where they're not in the States.
Yep. But speaking of 30 for 30, see what's coming out. Is it next week, the 19th?
Oh gosh, yes, that's already coming up, isn't it?
The 10-part series of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. I can't wait.
How much is little you just squealing inside right now?
I told my wife, I'm like, the TV's mine for the next 10 days after this thing comes out.
Oh, man, and we're going to be cutting. Oh man, we're cutting cable right at this time, aren't we? Damn it!
Get Hulu Plus, dude.
Oh, we will. Oh, that's right. We're gonna have it. Thank God.
Yeah, Hulu Plus, $55, man. That's not a free plug. They're not a sponsor, but if they want to be, they can.
Oh, we're going. Yeah, no, we're gonna go that route. And you know, when you hear the Alan Parsons Project, you're gonna get the goosebumps, the tears in your eyes.
Yeah,
and they go, "Your Chicago Bulls."
I just got goosebumps thinking of that.
Yeah,
I've seen Jordan play twice when I was younger.
Shut up! You did not.
I did twice, but granted, I was sitting up in the nosebleed, and I needed an oxygen mask from where I was sitting.
Wow.
But yeah, I got my stepdad. I got to see him play against the Miami Heat, and I got to see him play against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Who was on the Heat at that point? Anybody? There wouldn't have not back then.
Alonzo Mourning.
Oh, shut up.
Alonzo Mourning, I think, was on the Heat at that point because that was when he got traded from the Charlotte Hornets, which Michael Jordan now owns the Charlotte Hornets.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he was playing there. I think that was his last run. But when they announced him, because usually, you know, like here's Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, who got ejected in the game that I saw him get played.
Okay.
Course.
Yeah.
But when Michael Jordan came up, I didn't even hear Michael Jordan's name over the loudspeaker.
Really?
That loud in the stadium. It was the most deafening noise I have ever heard in my life.
Wow. Yeah. Even louder than one of the Seven Dust shows that you went to in your day?
Yeah, louder than that. Like, because they said, you know, all I heard was number 23. And then after that, it was the lights were on and they were getting ready to play basketball because it was that loud in the stadium.
That's tremendous.
That was awesome.
Well, and you were a huge Jordan Mark at the time, and Mark meaning a huge fan.
Oh, huge fan. Still am a huge fan, but yeah, I mean, you saw my basement room when you came to Wisconsin, you know, last year.
Yeah, it's in the archives of the director's cut, which we may release here someday.
I mean, over under Michael Jordan memorabilia in my room in Linden, 200.
What worth?
No, pieces.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You had plates, you had newspaper clippings, you had basketball cards, you had magazines. I mean,
everything.
Yeah, you know, I could tell you were a huge Jordan fan.
I think if we would have dug deeper, you would have probably found a menu from the Michael Jordan's restaurant.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Burgers were expensive, but it was a good place.
Yeah, no, I've heard that, and you know, I've also heard that he doesn't show up there very often.
No, he never did.
Oh.
But you did something over the week, because you do something, a really cool feature that I like on Rock is the Throwback Thursday.
Ah, yes, the Throwback Thursday track.
How do you come up with that music? Like, what's your thought process if you can go behind the scenes and pull the curtain back on radio and what you think?
Sometimes, quite frankly, it's just what I'm listening to on my iPod.
Okay.
Because I have an iPod that's, you know, just designated to old rock music that we don't play a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
And some of it is by feel. This week it was because the passing of John Prine. John Prine had passed away, and I remember Jay Lauren was in an interview with us inside the studio. For some reason, I believe it was the show helping out the victims of the 2008 flood, maybe.
Okay. And for people who don't know who Jay Lauren is, Brian.
Well, he's the lead singer of Hurt. And he was in there, and the band that was opening for them was called Illegal Smile.
Mm-hmm.
And Illegal Smile, we featured on Badgering the Hawkeye in the archives. But that is a term that was used in a John Prine song. And so he had mentioned that. I remembered him stating that he really liked what John Prine had done. So I'm like, hey, man, we haven't featured Hurt on this. Yeah. Featured a song called Rapture, which popped the audience.
Great song.
If you've never listened to the band Hurt, they were really only active commercially for about 6 years. Yep. But it intermingles guitar, violin, or orchestral, a lot of very deep,
melodic,
dark poetry.
Yep.
If you get even further into albums like one called The Crux, you really are going to have to be somebody that is an English major or really into poetry to dissect that one.
I dubbed them as Tool Light.
How so?
Just their on stage presence, their music. I mean, they are a lot about the lyrics, but they're also about the build up to the lyrics. Like, you listen to a Tool song. I mean, you know, if you want to hit the post on that, you have to talk for like 3 minutes before they start singing a song, and Hurt was pretty much the same way, because he was very instrumental and he wanted to, you to feel the music and then get into the lyrics and kind of put you into that place.
So as we put a bow on this, because I know our Zoom thing is going to be running out here shortly.
Yeah.
But the thing I would like to ask you is a song like 10 Ton Brick that was featured on their second album.
Yep.
Do you think that was a song that they were forced to put out, or was it a song that they wanted to put out? Because I think it was their most commercially palatable of the lot that they had.
I think it was probably a forced, knowing the songs that with Rapture and help me out with the other one, Brian.
Loaded, Danse Russe.
Danse Russe. What was and what was the other one that you had me listen to? I totally forgot that we
Falls Apart was the other one from the first album.
Yeah, so listening to between Falls Apart and Rapture, I think 10 Ton Brick was one where the record company came to him and said, yeah, maybe you guys should go this route.
Yeah, because I mean, everything else that I just named right there was very, it felt like you had to be on something to understand it,
And Danse Russe is probably my favorite song. There's a hidden track, and we're going to put a bow on this here too. Two things. There's a hidden track on one called "We're All Gonna Die." You got to look that one up. That's a pretty entertaining song. But coming up in a future episode here, Brian, I want to tell a story about how I was hanging out with Hurt and driving them back and forth in the Rock vehicle when I was working at Rock 108 back in 2007.
So not the next episode, but the episode after that, we should be talking about a couple of radio stories and dealing with, because there's one that you text me about that I don't know the story to. You talked about the Hurt one. You told me about the Great White. I don't know anything about what you dealt with.
Great White, that's right.
When you dealt with the band Great White at a place called Cabo, which has a storied history with the station as well.
The same place where we did the pool giveaway, which we talked about.
You killed it already.
Dang it.
Did you notice, like, you got to learn how to do the 80-20 tees, bro?
Oh, man.
You give them 80%, and then they come back for the 20. That's it.
Right.
You give them 80, and then you keep the 20.
So, Brian, are we going to record our next episode tonight? Or are we going to put that to bed here for a little bit, or what are we going to do if we get into this Zoom call?
Well, we're going to finish this thing up, and then I'm going to finish up and put the bow on so we can get that new episode out, and you can enjoy it on a Sunday for your Easter.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Well, I'm going to, after we get done with this, Brian, I got to try to figure out how to put this on Facebook so we don't make sure that this is wasted on us. But, I'm going to try to do that.
That's fantastic. Why don't we give them all the things that we usually close out the episode with, save for the I almost said the throwback track. It's actually Mike and Brian's mixtape. How do they find us?
A lot of ways. There's 3 ways. You got Facebook, you got Twitter, and then of course you got our email, but it's all linked up to Badgering the Hawkeye.
Okay. So if you found this, you know where Facebook is at, but we're at twitter.com/
Badgering the Hawk. There's no Hawkeye.
Badger the Hawk.
Badger the Hawk. Yeah, we couldn't afford the ER and the EYE.
Yep. We're also on Instagram.
That's right.
It's Badgering the Hawkeye. Not much on there right at the moment, but we're going to be adding more as time progresses.
Yep.
You can also find us on any podcast platform that right now, iHeartRadio, Spotify has us. You can find us on TuneIn Radio,
TuneIn.
Spreaker. Yeah, we're on pretty much every podcast platform. And you can tell that we're on every podcast platform because we've been getting emails. Well, what do you need to do to just be added to Alexa so Alexa recognizes play this?
Yeah.
Well, Alexa does recognize it because it says play Badgering the Hawkeye through TuneIn Radio.
Or iHeartRadio or wherever.
Yep. Yeah. So it'll do it. You just have to ask her nicely.
You can reach out to us via the email, too, if you want to have questions. If you want to be on the show, hell, we'll put you on the show. I don't care. badgeringthehawkeye@gmail.com. Anything you want to promote, we'll put you on the show. I really don't care at this point.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, because we're getting back into the swing of things. So,
yeah.
I think that's going to do it here, at least for this Zoom message. So I'm Brian.
Hey, I'm Mike. Thanks for joining us, Brian. I'm going to press the end, and then do you want to connect via Skype here, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, we could do that. That sounds great.
All right, we're going to stop recording. Bye.